Well, I've been putting this off for a while now, and I just feel like I need to get it out there. Um, I've been trying to get my thoughts together on this. I've done this once before, but I wanted to redo it because when I did it last time, going back and looking at the video that I did, um, I just looked wasted out of it. Well, I was going through some things with an injury and medication, and well, it is what it is. Anyhow, I've been spoken to by the Spirit, or should I say, I've heard the Spirit within me speak to me, however you want to put it. The first time I was a really small child in church, devoted Catholic. Mom and Dad never let us miss a Sunday ever. And children are always curious, and was down on my knees and we were praying, and I had said, Lord, if you're real, speak to me. And I heard a voice speak to me. And I remember going home and telling my mother about it after church. Well, years had gone by, and I never really heard that voice again. Then one day, back, I'm going to say in 2001, I was going through some stuff with my husband, just diagnosed with cancer. And I was just occupying my time. I was sitting at a computer, and there was somebody in the house with me I was talking to. And all of a sudden, a jolt of electricity just kind of flowed through me. And I heard in my spirit that George W. Bush would be elected by a glitch in the system. Well, that was the year that we had the hanging chads in Florida. I know that I sounded a lot like a crazy person at the time, and really I didn't care. I felt like Chicken Little with their head cut off, telling everybody the sky was falling, to be honest with you. And I went around and I told everyone and anyone that would listen to me. Most people just kind of humored me. It was hard to talk about what was going to happen, but I felt like I had to get it out there. And I was told that there'd be a war and many would die. And looking back, the only one that listened to me was my son's first grade teacher in school. We had a parent-teachers conference, and really didn't talk much about my son. I guess I didn't give the teacher time to talk much about it. But she listened intently to me. I think it was all to make sure that I wasn't a total crackpot and maybe needed to call child protective for my child. Well, I believe she, after a while, really believed what I was saying. And a year later, that teacher called me and asked me if I knew if she can ask me a question, and I said, sure, go ahead. She wanted to know if I knew anything about the future, what was coming. And the first thing that popped out of my mouth was, no, go read your Bible. I hadn't been spoken to. It was many years later before I was given another message. I went through a very rough time in my life. Like I said, I was just in 2001 being told that, my husband had cancer. It was actually in 2000 the cancer started. I'm sorry, 99. Boy, am I off. He got a clean bill of health, went back to work, and a year later dropped over. But I guess the Lord wanted him home. And I guess I should watch how I pray, because I didn't pray to heal him. I just said don't let him suffer like most cancer victims do. And he didn't suffer. He, hospice was called in, and he told the nurse that he couldn't breathe, and she said you can go by ambulance to get oxygen from the doctor, or you can ride up with your wife. And he chose to take the ambulance. Well, he died in the hospital. I ran out of that room screaming and crying. I believe that day was the day that I turned my back on the Lord. But he never turned his back on me. He was always there for me. He got me through some stupid, dumb things I did in my life, hoping that someone would just take it from me. But the good Lord guided me. The next time that I felt very strong about something, my son had friends over, and they were sitting in the driveway in the car, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it popped out of my mouth. You kids are the generation that the Bible speaks of. I have no doubt in my mind that our children, my children, is that generation. The next time I felt something in my spirit and heard something, I was in the vehicle riding to work, had my own business, mowing lawns. And my husband was driving, and I was reading the Bible, and all of a sudden I heard in my spirit, and I could see a vision of the Jetsons. And I was told that what is going on in the world today, or coming in the future, they're telling us via TVs, movies, and games. Well, I've since added to that list music also. And I keep saying it over and over again, and more times have I seen that it's true. They really are programming, predictive programming, television, movies, whatever, music. I want to talk about a day I was in the vehicle working, and that day all I did was cry and pray, really. My husband asked me what was wrong. What can you do for me? And there wasn't nothing he could do for me. I had said some things that weren't very kind, and I guess my words cut like a knife. And so I had been praying to the Lord while I was crying. All I wanted to do was see my two children in the same room. They didn't have to talk to me. I just wanted to see their faces. Well, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're probably 2 hours from home, I get a phone call. My son was in a car accident, and his sister's with him up at the hospital. Well, I guess my prayers were answered. My nephew was banged up pretty good. My son's still hurting to this day from that car accident. But I did get to see my two children in the same room. Be careful how you pray. There was one night I went to bed, and I got on my knees, and I said, Lord, why are these small trials and tribulations that I'm going through? This was probably about 3.5, 4 years ago. And I didn't have a dream that night. I didn't have a vision that night. But I was woken up that night. And in my spirit I hear, to help you with the bigger trials and tribulations coming your way. And I thought, my God, that's not what I wanted to hear. But thank you for answering my prayer. And it's helped me to be able to get through these storms that we're going through. Wasn't easy. It still isn't. But we still gotta worship and praise Him anyways. For He's the God of the mountain and the God in the valley. I don't dream much. Very rarely can I say I had a dream. Well, back about 2 years ago, I think it was 2018, January, I had a dream. We were outside gathered together as a bunch of people, and there was 2 houses on stilts, like almost like in a lagoon, but not. And the water had receded outwards. And I started yelling for the people to get into the houses high above. Well, of the 2 houses that were there, those that wanted to go in went in. The rest stayed outside. And next thing, a wave came in. I believe it was a tsunami. At the time in my dream, I thought it was a hurricane. But when I woke up and actually looked at what I was visioning, it was a tsunami. And one house fell over, and all the people that were outside were lost in the wave. And all the people that went in the houses were saved. But now there's just one house left, and trying to get everybody into the one house wasn't very easy. The water went out and came back in again, and we all went back in the house. And the water washed over us, and those that were in the house were able to be saved. I woke up shortly after that, and I'm not 100% what that dream meant, where it was. I don't know. I just thought maybe it was a tsunami, and this all was happening when they were passing laws talking about full-term abortions. Well, I don't know what it meant. Before I go, though, I want you to know that we need to pray. We need to humble ourselves. He said that those that are His people humble themselves and call Him by name, and He will hear our voice. And I think we need to humble ourselves and call upon Him. He wants us to lean on Him, not on our own accord. And I want you to know to pray, but be careful how you pray. Make sure you think it through very clearly when you ask the prayer. Prayers are answered. May not always be what we want them to be. This is my testimony, and I will stand by what I know and what I've been told and what I believe that I'm supposed to share. And I've put it off long enough. And it's time for me to put it out there. so that I can do what I was told to do. I don't know what I was put here on earth for, but God could use us all. And in this time with this coronavirus going around, this COVID-19, that I think there's a flu going around. There's many flus going around. Am I scared of it? No. God's got me. Do I think it's as scary as they say it is? Well, maybe. But it seems to me that where it's hit the hardest so far are places that were celebrating things that wasn't pleasant in God's eyes. Could this be his wrath? Could this be the beginning of birth pains? It does say that pestilence, famines, earthquakes in diverse places, strange weather. Boy, all this stuff seems to be speeding up like a big snowball. Some people mock it. Some people believe it. I've got some close friends that think we are closer than we've ever been to the return of our Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, our Father's only Son in heaven, until that day that we can all be together, that joyous, glorious day where there'll be no more tears, no more pain, no more fear. While all this is going on, I don't want you to fear. God don't want you to fear. He didn't give us the spirit of fear. That comes from the devil. This fear tactic is what the elite are feeding off of. They're hoping we're all fearful. We're hoping we're all complacent. I'm not taking no vaccine. No shots here. I'll rely on God for my protection. So whoever's listened to this far, I say, may God bless you and keep you safe and healthy. And if this message touched you in any way, feel free to share it. God bless you all. Take care, stay safe, and be strong in the faith. While we got this time on our hands, it's time to draw closer to God, now than ever before. Bless you all. Take it easy. Bye for now. Much love.